Bienvenidos al podcast de EXU, Explorando Ecuestre. Tengo muchas ganas de saber de los caballos en España y aquí lo comparto con vosotros. Si os parece interesante, por favor, compártelo. Así que, más pierna y adelante. Eventing is a spectacular sport. A rider who wants to compete needs to work daily and have long and short-term goals. Ricardo Montalvo Sánchez, like so many people nowadays, is away from his home. He arrived in England to work and learn with horses about 5 years ago. In his search for learning in the equestrian sport, in this case eventing, he's worked for a number of different yards. Some eventing, another show jumping, and another dressage. He tells us of his experiences and how he has learnt to teach his horses to think for themselves, solving problems with fences and becoming a real partner to trust.
Morning, Ricardo. Lovely to see you. Thank you so much for saying yes to this interview.
What?
Look, you have a British eventing shirt on.
Yes. It's my third eventing season here in England. This year it's been good. I did like 5 competitions already with my main horse.
So why did you go to the UK 5 years ago?
Yeah. So when I was 25, I decided that I wanted to become a riding instructor. I remember I went to a center called Sánchez in Barcelona for an interview, Ana Dorca. So I was with her for 2 years and started learning how to teach. And my position on a horse was like that. I didn't know to put my shoulder like that, to grab the reins properly. I used to grab the reins with one hand. And I was used to ride horses bareback without saddle. And when I finished the 2 years there, she said to me, Ricky, if you want to do that for a job, for life, you should go with an eventer, and then you can grooming for him and start learning properly. So then is when I met Eduardo Belfresne. I started to work for him. And I remember being grooming for him in France. That was the first time in Verdalle when I met all the good riders. And I thought, I really want to do that for life. After a year with Eduardo, being teacher for 2 years more, I have to say I was missing riding and competing. So I remember one afternoon after work in August, like 40 degrees under the tree on a bench. And I was thinking, I don't want to do that for life. I want to become a rider, and I want to improve, and I want to learn, and I want to go somewhere. And sitting there, I remember I took my phone, I rang Eduardo, I said, Eduardo, please, do you know someone in England? So I would love to go to England.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so
and that was 5 years ago.
it was 2016, October 2016. Yeah.
You'd worked as a groom, but then you became a groom rider, didn't you? So how did you do that from being the groom to the groom rider position?
Yeah, so when I was in Spain, I competed like 5 times with one of Eduardo's horses and one of mine, one is a Spanish breed horse. I knew that my level was a beginner, so I knew that to learn properly, you have to groom first, I think, to know how everything works. So I remember in the first place, I didn't have the opportunity to compete. I was riding, I was grooming. I thought I'm going to move. I had, after that, a good job with Austin O'Connor. He's international for Ireland. And with him, I did learn so much. But I didn't compete either because my best friend, Jack Pickney, he was the rider for him. After that, I moved to a show jumping yard. I had an opportunity to compete in show jump. And yes, after that, I went to a dressage yard because my dressage was not good. I never competed in dressage with them. After that, I had a great opportunity to compete and ride for Judy Bradwell. With her, I think Ricky was one before, and after Judy was another Ricky. Because I think she changed my mind to work with horses and how to work them.
What did she teach you that was different?
Well, the way she was teaching horses was something else. Because she produced young horses since all her horses, and she has so much experience. Well, she has won Belly when she was 20.
Yeah.
And the way she does is she try to put the horse in a situation at home like the competition, but in many different ways. So she builds her own jumps. She puts around the arena different jumps. So you go to the arena to jump and then do some dresses and then jumping and then cross country, and you start thinking more about how to make the horse happy doing what he's doing.
The horse has to have fun. And that's really cool that you've learned like that with her?
For eventing, you need a horse which has gallop, so jumping of a good mind. Also, you need a horse that help you out in a cross-country fence, and you will have some troubles. And the horse needs to think of himself. So the horse, if you have a mistake, if you have a bad stride, if you have a bad day, whatever, the horse needs to be able to think about himself and sort this fence out for you. And that is something really difficult to do. You cannot tell the horse what to do in all the moment. So you have to teach the horse the way, put the right balance, put the right contact, and then the horse has to do it.
I would love you to tell me who you're working for and how you got to work with them.
Alex Hua Tian and Sarah Higgins. We met the first time at the competition. It was a Belgium. You know, I had a good feeling with him. And then once I got the interview with him and Sarah Higgins, so far I think it was a really, really good decision. I'm loving the job. The fact that I'm riding with them every day always give me some tips in the best atmosphere that you can. We made a plan for a week, how to improve the horse in the best way. Brilliant lessons. I think I am in the right way with them. Alex is in Tokyo. It's going to be his third Olympic Games. I think I'm very lucky to have an international Olympic event rider. Sarah Higgins, she is an international Grand Prix dressage rider. It's fantastic. I feel that they are always there when I need it.
Do they have a big yard?
We have 5-6 people. I am home rider. Also had the opportunity to compete 2 horses from them. The stable is called Pinfall Stables. Well, the place is fantastic.
Angus, your horse?
Yes, Ivan Aguado, who is one of my best friends, he knew that I was looking for a horse. He knew that horse was going to put down. Very, very tricky. And the horse didn't want to do the job. That horse was a dressage horse. He put me in touch with the owner, Karen Forsyth, and she offered me, Ricky, if you can give that horse another opportunity, I will give the horse for you for free. The first time I took him to cross-country schooling, the horse jumped everything. Ditches, water, corners, skinnies, everything. And I thought, that is a good horse.
He was waiting for you.
I met my soulmate with him.
Because you're doing 2 stars with him, is that right?
Yeah, he never jumped in his life and he's enjoying it. I think the thing that he can gallop through the fields is different for him.
He likes it. And then he's good at dressage.
Dressage, he likes to show up.
That's great. So your employers, you ride their horses as well?
I ride their horses, which are from different owners. I break in a 4-year-old called Teddy, and he's for dressage. It's been great. He's been under the saddle 4 months. His fair competition, and he became fair with 71%.
So you're riding basically every day. You have like 1 day off a week.
Yes. So during the season, I'm having 2 days off. So in England, the season is between March and October.
So you've got 2 days off during the season and a day and a half. Okay, when you're out.
It's just amazing.
So what breed do you have? What do you think? What have you got?
The 2 youngsters, I have bred them. I wanted 17 hands. I wanted Warblood and Thoroughbred as well. I think it's really important to have Thoroughbred in their lines for the gallop, because eventing the gallop. I put a Spanish stallion called Stigma. He's Anglo-Arabian. I think Anglo-Arabian is really good breed for eventing. They have the stamina, they want to do the job, and I think they are great. I am quite happy with these youngsters.
What is Angus?
Angus is from Netherlands, KWPN. He doesn't have any thoroughbred lines in his breeding. I struggle to make the time because his gallop goes high, really high, but doesn't go forward.
Yeah, I love it. And do you talk to him in Spanish or do you talk to him in English or a mixture?
That's a good question. I would say 50-50. If I want to say something nice, I go in English. And if I have to tell him off, I do it in Spanish. So
wonderful. It's so much more effective. What's your daily or weekly routine with eventing horses?
I really think that for eventing, the plan has to be very different every day. Some weeks that I train more, so jumping or more, flat work. For example, to do 2 days hacking or even on the road. The horse has to be with you, with the cars, with the lights on the road, the lorries.
Yep.
When you're hacking, I'm still doing something because if there's a pheasant start flying and the horse spook and try to go away, You have to teach him, that's okay. You put your leg, you don't pull him, you teach him, you have to go forward, keep going forward, never backwards. Only one day jumping, and do 1 or 2 days flat work, pole work, to make him thinking about what's on the floor. So he started thinking about where to put his feet.
Now, that's really interesting.
I really think horses, they need to feel horses to be on the field and hug. I really think the horses need to do different jobs every day to enjoy life. For eventing, you need a horse that needs to think about himself.
How do you teach a horse to think for itself even though they're listening to you?
It's a really tricky question because you do that in different ways with different horses. For example, when you are teaching a young horse, I think on the ground, it's really important for a young horse to do a lot of work on the ground. I love to do long reining on the field. I do the first hack on the long rein, and I show him all the trouble that he can see, like a puddle on the ground. That he's going to go because, he's afraid because he thinks there is a shark. I put my long boots and I go through the puddle with him. I don't force the horse to go there because I'm telling him to go. No, I show him that there is nothing there, so he gets confidence with me. And next time when I will be on him, he will say, I did that with my rider, so I should be fine. When you are teaching a horse to jump for the first time cross-country fences, it's so good to go with them, not so much pressure in your reins, to let them free, to let them see the jump, to have a look. They are allowed to stop, that's okay. You can go around, go back, show the jump from different views so they can see that it's nothing there, it's nothing that way, it's nothing there. So they are more confident to go forward. Take your time, they will get there.
Being patient with
country is my happy moment.
But do you think it's an advantage or it's important to leave Spain as a rider to go and work in other countries? Do you think that?
If you want to become a professional rider, you have chance in Spain, but it's more difficult. So in England, everything is around horses. You go in each corner, you have a look on the fields, there is horses. The culture they have is more around horses. I think in Spain, we have horses, it's more like a hobby. Here in England, it's very usual to have someone who is just an owner, like 4 or 5 horses, and that person loves to see his horse compete with that rider. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think here in England, there is the best competitions in the world. Not other country has 2 5-star competitions like badminton or ballet. When I did my first competition in Spain, I did 4 or 5 in 2 years. In Catalonia, you could have in 1 year 4 or 5 competitions, depend. And in England, during the season, you can find in 1 week 4 or 5 competitions. In one competition in 3-4 days, 1,000, 1,500 is different.
Yeah.
So
we need more local competitions for people to practice on. Yeah. There's land in Spain, there's space everywhere, Do you have any personal goals or dreams?
I think dreams has to be big. I always say my dream will be complete badminton one day. No, 2017, 18 and 19, I've been there. It's something else. So the atmosphere, the people, the fences are huge, are so technical. It just made me happy. I want to be there one day. Yeah.
Because I was listening to a podcast, Andrew Hoy, because they asked him, obviously he's had a very long career in eventing. So what's the difference when you started to now? And he said the difference is that the fences are not as big as they were, but they're much more technical, the courses.
I agree with that, definitely, 100%. When I was with Judy Bradwell, I remember seeing pictures when she was competing. One of the jumps, it was a house. The house was down the hill. It was like 2 meters, something like crazy.
Any advice for young people who want to go into eventing? What would you say to them?
Eventing, I think, is 3 disciplines you have. And you can be good in one of them, but you still need to be good in the other one. To get there for young people, I would say it's good for them to start maybe in Spain, to start to see the competitions, to have a teacher. They really want to do it as a job. I think they have to move to a country where they have more opportunities. Here in England, you can have clinics almost every week. I have to say that here in England, there is a lot of good riders, not only the English one, a lot of good riders from other countries that they can teach you, they can show you the way, they can offer you maybe start as a groom and then you can find a horse. If I go back, I would do the same.
Ricardo, it's been really, really nice talking to you.
It's lovely being with you, I promise you. Yeah, I feel so comfortable.
One day I'll come and see you at badminton, okay?
Of course. Yeah, I don't know if I will be grooming or competing, but I will be there.
No, competing.
Hopefully.
Definitely. Yeah. Okay,
Thank
take
you.
care.
You
Bye.
too. Bye.
Muchas gracias por estar aquí con nosotros. Espero que os haya gustado la entrevista. Vamos a tener muchos más. Me encantaría que podéis seguirnos en Exu, Explorando Ecuestre, que está en Facebook y en Instagram. Por aquí quedamos, pero hasta muy pronto.